All right. Hello. All right. Welcome to the stream where we're going to talk about the Clone Wars movie and season one. And while we wait for some people to enter the stream, I found this interesting video to play. So watch this.
Anakin's riding Uncle Palpatine's shack, thinking about Padme, but there's no turning back. She's rocking on the porch with twins on the way, while Anakin's slipping deeper every day. Obi-Wan's leaning, staring at the sky, watching him drift and wondering why. Palpatine's smiling with a devilish grin, knowing Vader's about to dive right in. You cross the line too far to turn, the family's broken hearts start to burn. Padme's waiting, but you're too far gone. Obi's driving, knowing it's all wrong, and Yoda's sipping on his jug of brew, saying that boy's done, ain't nothing left to do. Windu's hiding in the swamp so still, waiting for Palpatine to show his ill will, but old Palpatine zapped him quick as a flash. Mace hit the swamp, gone in a splash. Yoda's watching, hidden by the trees, sipping moonshine, feeling that breeze. Obi-Wan's rolling in his beat-up truck, trying to save Anakin, but running out of luck. You cross the line too far to turn, the family's broken hearts start to burn. Padme's waiting, but you're too far gone. Obi's driving, knowing it's all wrong, and Yoda's sipping on his jug of brew, saying that boy's done, ain't nothing left to do. The swamp's on fire, the day's getting hot. Anakin's raging, losing the plot. Obi-Wan's facing him, saber in hand, saying, boy, you're tearing apart this land. Padme's breaking, torn by what she sees, while Palpatine's smiling, saying, boy, you're free. The South's gone dark and the family's torn. Anakin's lost and Vader's born. You cross the line too far to turn, the family's broken hearts start to burn. Padme's waiting, but you're too far gone. Obi's driving, knowing it's all wrong, and Yoda's sipping on his jug of brew, saying that boy's done, ain't nothing left to do.
Hey, like to play D&D but your party's scattered across the globe? Then check out Roll20, the best.
All right. Well, what'd you think of that little music video? And yeah, so welcome to the stream, everybody. Yoda drinking moonshine. Yep. Yeah, that's an interesting little video. And yeah, that channel has all sorts of videos like that for, like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. There's another Star Wars one for Return of the Jedi. And yeah. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting little video to start the stream with. So, all right. As you can see by the title, we are here to discuss the Clone Wars movie in season one. So, yeah. All right. We will start with the movie. So, let's see. All right. So we're gonna talk about the new characters that the movie introduced to Star Wars. So, yeah, because obviously, as most people know, it's the introduction of which YouTube channel is that from? It is from Demon Flying Fox. Just all one word, no capital. You should just go on YouTube and find that, and you should be able to. Here, I'll share the screen so you can see it. So yeah, Demon Flying Fox. Well, here, I'll just there. You can. There you go. Yeah, see, there's some Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, all that stuff. So yeah, you're welcome. All right. Yeah. All right. So the characters for the movie. So it obviously introduced Ahsoka Tano, gave us Anakin's apprentice, um, which when I saw this movie for the first time, it was in the theater when it came out in 2008. So I was 9, I think. Anyways, I was basically, probably the target age for this movie. Oh, Matthew got it. I wonder what Clone Wars was like on film. I've seen trailers for sale 35 millimeter. I assume somewhere it's a full print with the DTS CDs. Maybe they might. Yeah, but yeah. So it introduced Ahsoka, and I my first impression of Ahsoka is like a lot of people's. I wasn't a big fan of Ahsoka, but yeah, and as the series goes on, she does become a more likable character, and by the end, when she leaves the Jedi Order in season 5, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, that's too bad. You're right there with Ahsoka rooting for her. So I remember that. But yeah, in the movie, she's kind of annoying, but she's supposed to be. Then we have Asajj Ventress, and I guess this movie is not the introduction of Asajj Ventress into canon because she was in the 2D Clone Wars and books and comics and all that before, but I guess she, yeah, there's aspects of Ventress from the Clone Wars that are interesting. Probably wasn't the target audience, but I hooked from that Star Wars. Oh, cool. And then Matthew says the movie has different voice actors than the series, only for Mace Windu and Count Dooku. The movie has Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu and Christopher Lee as Dooku. So I mean, it's kind of cool for that reason. I'm never going to complain if we get more Christopher Lee Count Dooku. That's always nice. But yeah, and then for the series, it's T.C. Carson for Mace and Corey Burton for Dooku. So, and I think they both do a decent job for their characters. They sound close enough. So, yeah. Another character that the movie introduced was Zero the Hutt, a purple Hutt, which is kind of interesting on Coruscant. I don't know. I guess it would make sense that they would have a Hutt on Coruscant. You got to have someone there kind of watching over everything. Can't just, a big criminal empire like the Hutts. They got to have people all over the galaxy watching things, and it makes sense that they'd have someone on the capital of the Republic. Why was Hayden never asked to play Anakin in the cartoon? Is it some contractual thing? I don't know. Could be that, or he just wasn't interested, which is kind of weird. It's like, but I don't know. Would have been interesting if they would have had more of the movie cast voice in this. But then again, the cast for the movies are more expensive actors than voice actors. I know Rex was named for Alpha in Republic series, but yeah, that's true. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting movie. Yeah. Do any of you watching, do you like the story of the movie, or is it okay? It's I guess I'll say this, it's an interesting choice to begin the Clone Wars, that new series of the Clone Wars, because I don't know if it's the most interesting story. You know, basically Jabba's son gets kidnapped and the Jedi rescue him. That's essentially the plot. Um, you know, I think it would. I don't know if it's the best for like a movie. I think it would. I think it's fine for an arc in season one, but for the movie, I don't know. What would you have wanted? It was a great introduction to TCW. Okay, I think yeah, because the beginning is pretty good on Christophsis. Just you get thrown straight into a Clone Wars battle with clones and Obi-Wan and Anakin and that. So yeah, that is a good part of this movie. So, but yeah, so what are your thoughts on Anakin getting a Padawan? Does that bug you, or are you okay with it, or you mixed on it? Because I think for me, hmm, I don't hate it, but also I do see some people's points when they say that it doesn't make sense because, you know, is Anakin really ready for a Padawan? I don't know. It's an interesting little thing to think about. But yeah. So yeah, and you know, as stated before, you know, the cast is pretty good. You know, in the movie that you got Samuel L. Jackson voicing Mace Windu, which is it's cool. He doesn't have a whole lot of lines. Not that Mace Windu does a whole lot in this movie, but you know, that's still cool. Dooku is obviously more of a important piece to the movie. He's kind of the villain for the movie. Well, him and Ventress. But yeah. Well, let's see. I'm okay with Anakin getting a Padawan, even if it didn't work out as Yoda planned. That's true. Yeah, I think ultimately I'm okay with it. It just, you know, depends on where it goes. But if you read in the Republic comics, I'm pretty sure Anakin doesn't get he doesn't get knighted till like late in the Clone Wars. So TCW does contradict some other stuff. So, and I think in the 2D Clone Wars, he's not knighted till later as well. Yeah, because the first half of the show, he still has his Jedi braid and all that. And then at the beginning of, I think that's season 3, I think, where he gets his, where yeah, he gets his braid cut off and he's knighted, which is cool. That is one thing that I wish we get to see in live action is a Jedi getting knighted. I'd love to see the knighting ceremony in live action. I think that would be cool. I thought it was weird he had a Padawan but was never a Jedi Master. Yeah, true. The concept I had of Jedi Masters was very different from the OT before the prequels. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, because ultimately, Ahsoka calls him Master all the time. So how does that exactly work? You know, like I don't know. It is interesting. Ahsoka ended up working as Anakin's conscience. Yeah, that's true. She does do that here and there, but Anakin also influences her. So obviously, Anakin's perspective, he's obviously not fully shared his thoughts and opinions on everything with Ahsoka, but you know, sometimes in the show you do see kind of you know, Ahsoka like, oh well, Anakin does it this way. I don't hate it, but I always assumed Yoda was Obi-Wan's master, not Qui-Gon. Yeah, that's because in the movie, it basically makes it seem like Yoda was Obi-Wan's master. But yeah, well, he kind of is Obi-Wan's master in a way, especially because like Yoda's the Grand Master, so like he's probably had a hand in teaching, all the Jedi. And also, oh no, that's not true. Yeah, but Obi-Wan, yeah, I'm sure that's something that George Lucas didn't really have all the way planned out back when he was writing the originals. But yeah. All right. All right. Any other thoughts on the movie before we move on to the season 1? Any thoughts on Ventress or Zero the Hutt or Rhoda or the story of rescuing Jabba's son before we move on? I feel like I've kind of shared my opinion on all that. Oh, I guess I could say this. Yeah, what is everyone's thoughts on Jabba having a son? For me, I think it's fine. It doesn't bug me. I think the only issue is that his son is never referenced. It, again, I could be wrong, but I think it's the movie, and that's about it that we get information on his son. There might be a comic book or a short story somewhere that references him, but I don't think we get a whole lot of reference to Rhoda the Hutt. So ultimately, we don't know what happened to him after the movie. And I feel like if Jabba has a son, would his son not be the Hutt that should take over after Jabba dies? That's just something that, to me that makes sense if he has a son. Now, maybe he's not fully matured to a point where he can take over the Empire at the time of Jabba's death, because that would be what? He'd be like mid-20s, and I'm not an expert on Hutts, but they might be a species that takes forever to basically become an adult. I don't know. Jabba having a son was okay, as you say. It wasn't referenced again. Yeah, which is kind of weird. But, there's some things in the prequels that kind of happens. But you do have 19 years to kind of help explain. But, yeah, for Jabba's son, you'd have to... Where did he go after the movie? Yeah, so... All right. Move on to season 1. So, yeah. Season 1 had some new characters in Hondo Onaka, a Weequay pirate, which, yeah, I like Hondo. He's an interesting character. He pops up here and there in an episode every season or so, has something to do. His introduction is where he captures Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin, which is kind of interesting. So I always found him to be an interesting character. Kind of funny, Some of his quotes are pretty entertaining. And then obviously you have Cad Bane, that bounty hunter. He's a cool bounty hunter. He's and his introduction in Hostage Crisis is really good. That's a really good episode for season 1. Maybe like Baby Yoda Jabba's son might take over 50 years or so to grow to adulthood. Yes, there might be something like that. I'd have to look into how Hutts mature. But yeah. Yeah, those are great characters. Cad Bane. Yeah. Which leads me into what my favorite episodes of season 1 are. And I don't think this is in any order, but I have Lair of Grievous. I like that episode. Well, I am biased. It's a Kit Fisto episode, and I like Kit Fisto. But also, it is interesting that we get to see Grievous's basically his home, where he hangs out on his spare time, which he probably doesn't get a lot of because there's a war going on. But yeah, it's cool. I just wish that they would have, I don't know, like maybe it would have been cool to have like a series of episodes, like maybe 3 episodes set in the Lair of Grievous, so we can actually like explore it, and it's like this absolutely horrid place to be because he is a Jedi killer, so he would have tons of trophies and all sorts of garish things. I think that would have been cool, and it would have given like it would be kind of like a horror aspect, this like very scary, horrible place for especially for Jedi. Like it should be very deadly for Jedi since General Grievous is supposed to be very deadly to Jedi, and unfortunately we don't really get to see that very much in the Clone Wars. Hondo, like pre-Disney Ahsoka, is a great addition to Star Wars lore. Yes, and then they messed him up in Rebels. I don't know. I don't get Hondo being in Rebels. It's just like, and his design's kind of dumb too. But Rebels kind of has that across the board. But we're not here talking about Rebels. So yeah. That's just my thoughts on Lair of Grievous. It's a good episode, but I would have liked more exploration of that and all that. I think that would have been very, very cool. And then Rookies, which is the 5th episode of season 1, where we follow, as it says, a bunch of rookies, Heavy, Fives, Echo, and that at a little outpost, and they get attacked by some commando droids, and basically everyone dies except Echo and Fives. So, and it's their basically their introduction, because they go on to do relatively important things in the show, and yeah, they're kind of standout clones because they appear in multiple episodes, so and they become ARC troopers, so it's kind of cool. Pretty cool episode. I've always liked that episode. Yeah. And then obviously the next episode is Hostage Crisis. I mean, it's a pretty cool episode, and I think it's a good season finale. It's a really cool way to end the season on a very interesting, a group of bounty hunters takes the Senate hostage to free Zero the Hutt, because the Hutts want Zero to be free so they can punish Zero themselves. That's basically the whole. But you basically find that out late in a later season. I think season 3. So, but yeah, great stuff. You get to see Cad Bane in action. Awesome. I really don't have anything negative to say, except maybe the Anakin aspect. It's like that just so happens to be the time when, he gave Padme his lightsaber, and he doesn't have it during this little crisis, but sometimes things like that happen. So, it's just, yeah. So, all right. Well, before I say some of my least favorites, what is some of the chat's favorite episodes of season 1 of the Clone Wars, if you have any? Yeah, am I missing any really, really great episodes? I mean, I like the Ryloth arc, but yeah, I'd say the arc as a whole is really good. Each episode, pretty good. Jedi Crash, that 2-parter's pretty good. Yeah. So does the chat have any favorites to let me put on some music. Could be a little tad boring to just listen to silence, so I'll put on a little bit of background music. We'll just put that there. The background. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. While we're waiting for some comments, I'll just go over my least favorite episodes. They're basically Jar Jar Binks episodes, because I think Jar Jar Binks. I don't hate Jar Jar Binks, but I just think his bumbling around and, basically succeeding by, bumbling around and tripping and falling and actually saving the day and all that stuff, I think is just a little, I don't know. It makes it feel like a cartoon. I guess he's a better fit in the Clone Wars because that's, it's more of a cartoon, so his goofiness isn't as bad as in like Phantom Menace, where him being bumbling around I think is a really big issue. But we have I like Trespass, yes, and the Malevolence episodes, although many of the episodes were good. Season 1, yeah. Season 1 is... I think Season 1 is probably still my least favorite season, but it actually has a lot of good stuff in it. Ambush, the first episode with Yoda. Yeah, that's always a fun episode. The Malevolence arc is pretty good. Trespass is pretty interesting. You get to see the Talls, which is cool. So yeah, those are great episodes. Jar Jar episodes were definitely no-nos. Yeah, and to spoil it, those are really my least favorite episodes of season 1, and I there's 2 of them. You have Bombad Jedi, where that's on Rhodia with Padme, where Newt Gunray gets captured by Padme and Jar Jar, because they think Jar Jar is a Jedi because he found a Jedi robe in Padme's ship. We all know that's Anakin's robe. So kind of goofy. I liked him in that Temple of Doom episode Rinsler wrote. Forgot the title, the one where they think he is a Jedi, season 6. Oh. Yeah, yes, in season 6, that 2-parter Temple of Doom. I actually really like those 2 episodes where he teams up with Mace Windu, which is very interesting. You've got this goofy character and this very serious character, and their interactions are pretty entertaining. I do like that episode, those 2 episodes. Those are really good, where you're dealing with those cultists on that planet. Yeah. It's funny, Temple of Doom is not my favorite Indiana Jones movie, but I still like it, and that Temple of Doom-esque 2-parter episode in season 6 of the Clone Wars, I really enjoyed and thought it was fun. So yeah, those are probably the only Jar Jar Binks episodes that I would actually say I enjoyed, because the other ones are just, yeah, I think that's the only time where, yeah, and I think it's just, for the reasons as stated. It's the pairing with him with Mace Windu. It's the Temple of Doom stuff, which is fun. Yeah. Although we don't want to talk about that right now. I mean, that'll be when we do a live stream on season 6. But yeah, pretty great episodes. So yeah, and then my least favorite is I believe it's called The Gungan General. It's the second episode of the 2-parter episode where Hondo captures Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin. Yeah, the fact that they send Jar Jar Binks on a pretty important mission. I mean, come on, that's like, we could capture Dooku, a very important leader in the Separatists. Let's send Jar Jar. He's capable of this, and what does Jar Jar do? He basically causes does he cause the shuttle to crash? No, because I think one of the pirate guys shoots it down, but he does cause the death of Senator Karras, the Grand Senator. Yeah, Jar Jar is responsible for his death, because he's like bumbling around, and Karras gets out of his seat to help Jar Jar get in his seat, and runs out of time to sit back down and put his a restraint on. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that episode. What is the one with Yoda and the troopers? I like that one. The first Ambush. That's the one. Yeah, that was a good one. Hello, Masquerade. Yeah, just talking some Clone Wars movie and season 1 stuff, as you can tell by the title. But yeah, welcome. All right. Yeah, so very interesting episodes. So, are there any other bad episodes that you would say in season 1 that aren't Jar Jar related? Is there an episode that's like, man, this wasn't that great of an episode? I'll be honest, I can't really think of anything that really comes to mind. I think every other episode is pretty good. Well, I guess let's see. I think it's Cloak of Darkness. It's the episode with Luminara and Ahsoka, where Ventress comes to break Nute Gunray out of prison on their Venator. That episode I just felt was kind of weak. Alpha is a different character. Rex as replacement. Oh. Yeah, because although I do think, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say I'm not that knowledgeable. Although, for people that might not have watched The Bad Batch, which, I don't blame you, it's kind of mediocre. Alpha is what they call Boba Fett now. So he's like, that's what the Kaminoans refer to Boba Fett as. That might be in Legends as well. I don't think so, because Alpha is a ARC trooper, really legendary character. So how come the developers of the Clone Wars didn't make Satine Kryze the chiefess of Mandalore? Who knows? Mandalorians are kind of disappointing in Clone Wars, but we'll get to them in season 2. But yeah, well, I guess chiefess. They probably wanted Duchess. I don't know. I was not a fan at first, but a friend who liked it kept pushing me to watch it. Only really became my favorite show in season 3. Still really liked the Genndy series. Yes. The 2D Clone Wars by Genndy Tartakovsky. Yeah, it's good. General Grievous is really fantastic in that. I think that show does a far better job of showing what General Grievous really is. A huge threat. He kills Jedi in it. He's actually not in it very much. So, yeah, and every time we see him on screen, he's either killing Jedi or he's kidnapping Palpatine. He's a capable character. I think George Lucas changed his name to Rex because there was too many A's. Oh, that's right. I think it was supposed to be Alpha originally, but yeah, he has Anakin, Ahsoka, R2. Yeah, yes, I think I remember hearing something about that. So, yes, that's a good point, Andrew. Alright, I still have the Clone Wars mini art book that showcases Satine in an armor. Oh, really? So that should have been an indication that she was a warrior by doing the duty by any means necessary. Oh, really? That's interesting. Yes, I think I don't understand the whole let's have peaceful Mandalorians. No, Mandalorians are warriors, and you want when you see a Mandalorian on screen or in a book or wherever in Star Wars, you want them in their armor, weapons out, taking the enemies to town. You want them to be very capable and a huge threat and warriors. That's what a Mandalorian is. and not seeing that in the Clone Wars. Well, you get Death Watch, but yeah, nah. I do have problems with the EU and Wars lore clashing, and this was before Disney made EU Legends, and yeah, TCW does contradict a lot of stuff, especially the Clone Wars, like the comics, some books and all that stuff. Yeah, there are issues. I haven't discovered as much because I haven't read the comics, the Republic comics, which I should read. Yeah. Clone War, yeah, I understood what you're saying. No worries. Yeah. You mean CW, MMP, and TCW lore clashes. Clone Wars multimedia project. Yes. Yeah. Those clash. Which is a shame because it's not that TCW shouldn't exist. It's just that I think when creating TCW, they should have taken more care, and instead of just doing whatever they wanted, I see nothing wrong with adapting some of the storylines in the comics or the books, so you get to see a visual, like a TV show version of that. Like, would that not be cool? And then they could add some other stuff, because there's campaigns that are referenced because other Jedi are doing other things in different planets that you could have seen instead of, but oh well. I'm talking about Karen Traviss primarily. Yeah, that's true. Karen Traviss. Very interesting books she's written, the Republic Commando series. Yeah. Which I enjoyed. But yeah, then you watch, but you read that and you watch Clone Wars and you're like, oh man, there's so many clashes, and it's hard to see them as like the same. And Moraban instead of Korriban, and Boba not being a Mando nor Jango. Yeah, I don't understand Moraban and Korriban switch. Like, that to me is like a stupid, dumb change. Like, isn't it just easier to say, oh, it's Korriban? Why do we gotta rename it? Whatever, that's dumb. Oh, and Boba and Jango not being Mandalorians is just like, why? I don't understand that thing. It's like they wear the armor, so basically they just found the armor and they wear it because it's cool and it's a good armor. That's why they're in the armor. It's not because they're Mandalorians. Yeah, just changes or not necessarily changes, but things that are just like, why? That isn't necessary. So, yeah, very interesting. All right. Well, is there anything else that we should discuss in this stream about Season 1 of Clone Wars? I guess maybe we could do a General Grievous discussion since he's in several episodes. Yeah. So, so what is the chat's thoughts on General Grievous in TCW Season 1? We'll keep it to Season 1 right now. I feel like, let's see, I think his first episode in Season 1 is it the second Malevolence episode? Yeah, because I think his very first episode in Clone Wars, I think, is a decent General Grievous episode because he's being a general. He's leading the troops. It's when he engages with Obi-Wan in a lightsaber fight in the last one that I think kind of messes it up, because it's like, why are you fighting Obi-Wan? Well, is that really a duel? Yeah, I don't know. It's just yeah. General Grievous hasn't gotten a cough until Mace Windu force crushed him, and he had it now. Plus, his combat lacked the unorthodox ability to use lightsabers. Yeah, he's a. It's an interesting thing, but yeah, because it just would have been nice to see General Grievous fighting Jedi is fine, but I think he needs to go up against Jedi that we don't know. Basically, you needed to introduce new Jedi characters that are basically there to be killed by General Grievous. Because if he fights characters that appear in Revenge of the Sith, then obviously we know how this combat scenario is going to end. It's basically going to be him running away, because that's how most of his duels in the Clone Wars end. He runs away because he's fighting Obi-Wan or Kit Fisto or whoever. You know, someone that needs to make it to the next movie so that they can't die, and General Grievous can't die. So there's only so much you can do with General Grievous in duels with characters that you can't be killed. But if you have characters that, because I see nothing wrong with introducing a couple of Jedi that are fairly important, and throughout the series of the show you could maybe have them encounter General Grievous and some of these other characters, and then you have like a really epic lightsaber duel that ends with that character dying. I think that'd be kind of interesting, but that's just me. So yeah, it's a shame, because General Grievous is an awesome character, and you know, if you read his backstory, you know, it's a Kaleesh warrior that was fighting for his home planet against some evil bug people. Yeah, and the evil bug people are, you know, decimating his home planet, and so they basically just go on the offensive and wipe out the bug people. But then the bug people, they run to the Republic and whine and complain about the Kaleesh killing them and all that, and the Jedi come in and basically make the Kaleesh stop, and they put the Kaleesh, they basically put a lot of laws and restrictions and all that stuff on them, and yeah, that doesn't make General Grievous very happy. So that gives his that's where his hate of the Jedi come in, is basically they came in and sided with his enemy and did further damage to the Kaleesh planet. Yep. And then General Grievous has a horrible shuttle accident, and yeah, and is rebuilt as basically a cyborg experiment, and is given the leadership of the droid army. Also, Grievous has multiple wives and children, more than what Ki-Adi-Mundi had. Oh, well, I didn't know that. I knew he had a wife, but I didn't know he had multiple wives, children. Cool. They all probably died, because you know that would help give him even more hatred for the Jedi and all that. So, but I mean, yeah, General Grievous has a very interesting story, and I'd love if that was a TV show, but you know, current Disney and Lucasfilm would ruin it. So better to just leave it alone. Basically, that's the case for every story, that like, oh, that would be such a cool movie or whatever. It's like, no, you better just not touch it, because they'll ruin it. I mean, look at the crap that they put out nowadays. So yeah, All right. Well, I think that's about it. That's all I have for season 1 and the movie. So yeah, we'll just wait around for a couple more minutes if the chat has any last minute pressing things to say about the movie or season 1. Yeah, so yeah, now's your chance if you have anything that you really want to say, to put it in the chat. If not, then yeah. So well, this has been a fun stream, talking movie in season 1. Yeah, we'll do this again for season 2 and season 3 and 4 and so on. Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun to talk Star Wars. You know, that's how I look at this. TCW would have been cool as a live action series, although hopefully Disney won't go there. Would be cool to see some Clone Wars stuff in live action, but yeah, not something that I want to see now because Disney would just make it awful. I mean, that little shred of live action Clone Wars in the Ahsoka show told me everything that I need to know, that like, yep, Disney is not going to do it very well. All the fog and you couldn't see anything. Hayden Christensen looked pretty cool in the Clone Wars armor. I thought that was cool. That's really the only cool aspect about that whole little thing in that show. Is like, oh, it was cool to see him in the Clone Wars armor. That's it. Other than that, I'd be like, no thanks. You know, I just realized something. I think Ahsoka may as well be young before the Clone Wars began, meaning Plo Koon already had his Padawan, this arc, knighted, and most likely be her informant. Cool. Plo Koon had a Padawan? That's cool. Well, of course he had a Padawan. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Man, there's so many cool stories that they could have told and adapted in TCW. You know, but instead we had to focus on Obi-Wan and Anakin the whole time. It's like, why couldn't we get some Plo Koon episodes where he, you know, yeah, where we get to see, like, learn more about Keldor and his Padawan, all that stuff. I think that would have been awesome. And that goes for Ki-Adi-Mundi and Kit Fisto and Aayla Secura and a bunch of these other characters. Obi-Wan and Anakin get a lot of screen time in Clone Wars. I understand they're movie characters, people like them, but I would have liked more screen time on characters that don't get time to shine in the movies or anything. That just would have been nice. So yeah, because there's so much. I mean, Yariel Poof would have been cool to see as a character. Oppo Rancisis, you know, that guy's awesome. A Snake Jedi. You know, who doesn't want to see that guy fight in a lightsaber duel? Come on, I think that'd be awesome. I tell you, this arc is a Trandoshan. Oh, cool, Trandoshan Jedi. That's awesome. You could kind of tell that's like that Lissark, you know, that's like that does feel kind of like a Trandoshan name, you know, because some of the naming conventions, you know, it's like, oh well, that obviously looks like a Wookiee name or a Trandoshan name. So yeah, but again, like, obviously, you know, it's whatever the person wants. But yeah, that's cool. That Trandoshan Jedi, that's kind of cool. It's always fun when you learn new stuff about Star Wars. Yeah, so that's awesome. Thank you for telling me that, Masquerade. There's so much cool stuff to learn. Man, if you don't delve into the EU, I feel like as a Star Wars fan, you really are missing out. Even because there's so many cool stories, and even if you're not a big comic book fan, that's okay. There's novels or video games or short stories, or if you're into role-playing games, you know, like D&D and stuff like that, there's even that for Star Wars as well. So I feel like there's even TV shows. So there's lots, you know, the EU has a lot to offer. Anytime. Yep. Yeah. EU's a fun thing to play around in. All right. Well, does the chat have anything more to add, or is it time to end? This has been a really good stream. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed talking Clone Wars with the chat. It's fun. We will be doing season 2 in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, at the same time. So yeah. Yep. There's always the EU novels that are worth delving into. Yes. Although not every EU novel is created equal. Don't just pick up a random one and expect it to be the greatest thing you've ever read. There is a little bit of quality, but yeah. Obviously, if you pick up a Timothy Zahn novel or a James Luceno or a Michael A. Stackpole, I think you're going to be pretty safe with some of those choices. I've been watching your TCW reviews, so I look forward to the next one. Yep. Although I'll say it in this stream. After I do the last one for season 2, review-wise, I won't be doing reviews anymore. I will just be doing these streams as I don't know. I personally, I haven't been enjoying making the TCW reviews. It's kind of hard to. Yeah, so I'll just do I'll do the stream. I think the stream will be good enough. So yeah, well, yeah. So if you know, if that's sad news, you know, I'm sorry, but that's, yeah. Fair enough. Streaming is fine by me. Good. Yeah, because we'll still discuss the season 3 and onwards, but it just won't be in that video format, diving in deep. But that's okay. Of course, you know, I have reviewed the movie in season 1 and season 2, so yeah. So I mean, season 3 and onwards, they might be longer streams where we go a little deeper than what we did for the movie and that. So streams will be fun. Good. Yeah, so we'll still talk Clone Wars. It just won't be as often. Yeah. And then obviously once we're done with the Clone Wars, you know, and just do streams on whatever. But yeah. Although there will be a stream in November that will take a break from Clone Wars, and we will talk Attack of the Clones. So yeah, you can look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah. Well, it's been fun. Thank you to everyone for joining in. Masquerade, Andrew, and Matthew, and anyone else that may have popped in for a little while and didn't comment. That's fine. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and yeah, it was fun. And I'll see you in the next live stream and the next video. Goodbye. You're welcome, Andrew, for the live stream. It was fun to do.